11 Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
You are looking at the waters just off of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And while the skies may seem clear and calm right now, don't look behind you. There's a storm rolling in. The Florida Storm have returned home after a trip to Canada last week as they host the Houston Hyenas on a Saturday afternoon. Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Michael Cirillo. And I am joined in the booth today by Robert Garrett Jr., Albert McKinn, and Tim Hackett are along on stats as well. Robert, what do you make of this matchup this afternoon?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good matchup, a fun game to watch. And it's going to be entertaining to see how Florida tries to work to get themselves out of this hole that they've gotten themselves into early in the season, starting 0-3. And also interesting to watch Houston as they've been on the upscale so far in season 15 and see how they work the game plan and see what they can do.
Mostly behind their running back Warren Murray, who they will look to play through mostly today. We will get to our keys to the game after we do kick off. We are down to the field for the coin toss. Thank you for joining us once again on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff is next from South Florida. Houston won the toss, deferred to the second half. That means kicker Nico Cappuccino has the ball on the tee. He has his hand in the air. The whistle blows and it's game on here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the eye of the storm. The second of a Saturday quadruple header of SFL action. Return up to the 27-yard line. Let's run you through the Florida offense. Their quarterback is Ron Cochran, running back J.W. Doyle, wide receivers Stephen Bush and Jeff Como, E.J. Minson and Optimus Klein are also out there. Varadin Zarkov is the tight end, and they've got Deontay Stoneville and Claude Luge on the offensive line. They shall start from their own 27, and it's a handoff to Doyle, first play from scrimmage, right up the middle for 4 yards.
Yeah, the Storm's going to look to play through J.W. Doyle the best that they can. Haven't quite been able to figure out how to get him going effectively as they would like, but going to keep moving through him, see if they can get him open in the field and put up some points.
Bunch formation to the left side of Cochran on this 2nd and 7. 10:25 to go. Second play from scrimmage, and Cochran is brought down from behind. One of the themes of this game strikes early as Chris Joseph rocks through for the sack.
Yeah, Chris Joseph played the edge of the offensive line perfectly on that play. Got his arm into the chest of the tackle and just fought across the contact. Easy sack for him, and the Storm are behind on the chains already.
3rd and 13, a floater to the far side, and driven out of bounds at the 28-yard line is E.J. Minson, and he was brought down by Everett Garrison. So a quick 3-and-out for the Florida Storm, which really kind of highlights their offensive woes they've had this season.
Yeah, Florida just hasn't been able to stay ahead of the chains so far this season, and they've been in some close contested matchups, but when they're in those close games, Ron Cochran looks to make some extra mistakes that he doesn't normally and gets them in some bad situations.
Kai Cash is the returner for Houston. He brings it up to the 26-yard line. 9:37 to go first quarter. Here's the Houston offense. Kentez Johnson is their quarterback. Brian Horrell, Leroy Brown, and D.R. Sim, the wide receivers. Warren Murray, the running back. Stephen McMichaels, the fullback. Dax Lewis at tight end, Alistair Johnson, and Zane Zello up front on the offensive line. They will mirror Florida's offensive formation, going bunch left, single right, handoff Warren Murray. He is their bell cow. He makes a jump cut and picks up 8 yards to the 34.
And you noted earlier as the game started that Houston was going to look to move through Warren Murray. He was going to be their number one point of attack and then branch off from there. And it shows early as he gets a quick 8-yard carry, and they're already at a 2nd and 2.
Shotgun for Johnson. Murray flanking him with 2 receivers split off to the left. Here comes a 4-man rush. And a throw to the far side is caught. And out of bounds, unfortunately, is DR Sim. So it'll be 3rd and 2.
And DR Sim, just one of the weapons that Kentez Johnson has to throw the ball to. It looks like Houston wants to take an extra look at this play, see if maybe Sim did get his foot down in bounds and they just missed it.
Mon Simeon throwing the early challenge flag just 3 minutes into this first quarter. And we will go to the review to see if the veteran DR Sim had his foot in bounds. And from that angle, it looks like he did.
Yeah, it looked to me like he had at least both feet in, maybe even a 3rd step there, but we'll see what R62 has to say.
DeMond and the Houston Hyenas win the challenge. It'll be 1st down for the team from Texas, which will allow me to go over the defense for Florida. Their defensive line looks like this. Alex Dominguez, Raymond Jones III, and Alessandro Tomaello. Roland Parrott and Eric Hammer are the linebackers. Corners Ryan Davidson and Adam Jones. And safeties Ryan Tobin and Andrew Francis. 1st and 10 for the Houston 38. Handoff middle. Murray bounces off his own blocker and only gets 2.
In a great play there by Alex Dominguez. Got a push on the interior offensive lineman. Got him stopped in the backfield, which made Warren Murray have to hesitate and find a new hole to hit.
Warren Murray last week, 21 carries for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. As the Houston Hyenas improved to 2-1 as they beat the Lone Star Glory. Low snap for Kentez Johnson, floated over the middle, intercepted, and this is what the Hyenas were going to try to avoid, but it's into the hands of Ryan Davidson right off the bat.
Yeah, Ryan Davidson just makes a great play on a ball that was kind of poorly thrown by Kentez Johnson. Sort of put it up in the air, more of a lob-style throw where it was moving slowly, and easy interception by Ryan Davidson.
So Florida, for their early struggles on offense, have the ball in an advantageous position at the Houston 40. 8:27 to go first quarter. The Storm in their all blue uniforms today. Helmets, jerseys, and pants with light blue accents. Cochran short over the middle. That pass is caught. And a 5-yard pickup on 1st down for Jeff Como.
Yeah, Ron Cochran really has to play composed in the pocket today. Take his time and make sure he gets his reads, finds the open throw, not forcing as many turnovers as he has in previous weeks. And that might be one of the key things for Florida going through this game.
2nd and 5. Cochran under center, 2 behind him. 3-step drop, fires over the middle, and it's intercepted, and the ball goes back and forth as it's intercepted by Brady Clark for his 2nd of the season.
Yeah, and I kind of jinxed it there as the ball was intended for Optimus Klein, but that was one of those throws that Cochran has just been making the mistake of throwing so far this season. Double coverage, clearly he was covered up, and Cochran tries to force that ball anyway. So Houston gets out of there without much trouble after their turnover, and they get to try to march the ball downfield.
On the last drive, Warren Murray threw his 5th interception of the season. And they got the ball back via the interception from Clark. Here's 1st and 10 at their own 16, and it almost threw another pick as it's deflected off the hands of Andrew Francis, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if maybe that ball got tipped at the line or if Kentez maybe got hit while he threw the ball. Really wasn't in the area of any of his receivers. Just looked like it was carelessly thrown if he was by himself back there.
Defense is having the say in the early going here. 7:48 to go, first quarter, no score between Florida and Houston. Hyenas with the football at their own 16, 2nd and 10. 3-day bat for Johnson, who's under center. He will move in the pocket and fire it out to Murray out of the backfield. Murray makes a spin move to make one man miss, and then he's dragged down after a gain of 3 yards by Roland Parrott, already 2nd tackle on the day for the rookie.
And that's what's going to happen all game if you try and make dive tackles on Warren Murray. Most of the time, he's going to spin out, juke out, just get out of the way of the tackle and going to make your players look silly. So you got to stay up high and take him down to the ground.
3rd and 7, 5 wide for Johnson. Throws middle, caught, first down, spin move to get more yards, all the way up to the 33-yard line. That's Brian Horrell as he gets out Houston out of the danger zone, as it were.
And Kentez threw that ball just perfectly on the dot to the receiver. 3 different guys there. He had a lot of options to choose from and decided to go with Horrell, who's able to push ahead for a few more yards.
First and 10 from the 33. Power I formation. First time we've seen that from Houston today. Single receiver split out right to the right. Here's a 5-man rush. Murray running through it. Breaks 1 tackle and then picks up 6 to the 39.
And Warren Murray just had great carrier vision there on that last play. A lot of runners would have tried to continue taking that ball straight up the field, tried to power through a couple guys, but Murray able to cut to the side, get a couple more yards that he may not have gained otherwise.
Offset I. Florida stacks the box. Murray going to run anyway, try to bounce it outside, and he'll get brought down right at the line of scrimmage.
And that one was a mistake on Warren Murray's part. Fullback Stephen McMichaels had a really good block on that outside guy, pushing him to the sideline. Warren Murray should have went off of his back to try to get the ball upfield.
3rd down 4. 4 receivers to aim at, but it's going to be a handoff to Murray again, and he's going to be dragged down for a loss of 1 to the 39-yard line, and maybe not the correct choice that time for the offenses. That's going to be another punt for Houston, or the first punt for Houston.
Yeah, the Storm's defensive line was ready for that one. They had all the right key-ins on Warren Murray and was ready to take him down to the ground before that play was even snapped.
Punt on the way from Brian Adams. And the Florida Storm will have the ball at the 27-yard line when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Eye of the Storm here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm Michael Trillo. Robert Garrett Jr. is alongside me, along with Tim Hackett and Albert Begin. Florida Storm begin their 3rd drive of the game from their own 27. 5:20 to go first quarter, no score. Cochran takes a shotgun snap, looks to the left side, fires, and will have a first down out to the 38-yard line. Nice pitch and catch up to Stephen Bush, his first reception of the game.
Yeah, and the Storm had the perfect play called there for the type of zone that Houston was running. The corner stepped up and played a little bit more in the flat, which let the receiver get up behind him and find an open spot.
Well, they're reviewing something. We've got our second review of the game already here in the first quarter. We're going to see if Stephen Bush stepped out. And I can't see a way to overturn that from that angle.
Now, I'm wondering if maybe they just thought that he pulled that 1 foot up and was in the air trying to make the catch. But yeah, it looked pretty easily to me like that was a possession catch. And Houston will have to lose a timeout because of it.
1 for 2 on challenges goes Damon Simeon, and Florida will move the chains to the 38-yard line. Linebackers playing well back of a 4-man front for the Hyenas. Cochran under center, takes a snap, handoff middle to Doyle, and Doyle will get 2 yards straight up the middle. There's a number of rookies to highlight in this game, but probably none more important than Brody Gulch on the linebacker spot for Houston.
Yeah, Brody Gulch has played great. The 4th overall pick from them coming out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Told us that he's a big fan of working out, but recently suffered an injury resulting in titanium plate and 6 screws on the surgery. So hopefully he gets better soon.
Cochran over the middle, incomplete, knocked away. As Brody Gulch, right on cue, makes the stop, 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, it's almost like he knew we were about to talk to him on back-to-back plays. Last play coming up and making the tackle on Doyle, and that time defending the pass really well. Looking good so far in the early game for the Hyenas.
3rd down and 8. Cochran under center has 4 receivers to aim at, 3 of them to his left in a bunch formation. A 3-man rush for Houston is picked up easily. Cochran goes deep down the field, and it's intercepted. Air mailed right to the safety. And getting his hands on the football is Jacob Clear, his 2nd interception of the season.
Yeah, and they just tried to air that ball downfield, as you said, try to get it deep and see what they could do. But Jacob Clear all over that ball, easily played on it, and takes the ball the other way for Houston.
And it looks like it could be turnover fest today in South Florida. The Storm have 2, Houston have 1 so far in the early going. Still 4:37 left to go, first quarter, no score. And now Kentez Johnson and company back on the ball at their own 39-yard line. Johnson under center with 2 behind him. He's going to hand it off to Warren Murray. Murray sheds 1 tackle, but cannot get away from the second one, and put on the ground by Eric Hammer for a 2-yard loss.
And it seems that Florida's defense is looking so far in this game to try to cut off Warren Murray, make the Hyenas play through Kentez Johnson and see what they can do off of that. Great job keeping him contained and making him lose a yard on that last play.
57% of our SFL community thinks that Florida has the upper hand in this game. Over the middle, incomplete into the traffic. And that was intended for Jackson Lewis, the tight end. So far, neither of these 2 teams really having an upper hand so far.
Yeah, they're kind of right now going back and forth, kind of like a tennis match, just keep giving each other the ball, seeing what their defenses can do, and not much effective for the offenses so far in the game.
3rd down and 11. Again, 5 wide go the Hyenas. They're at their own 38-yard line. Kentez Johnson in the gun, alone in the backfield. He'll step back to pass, pressure in his face immediately, and he's going to go down for the sack.
And that was a great play there by the defender, able just to get off that outside edge of the line, beat the offensive tackle who never had a chance. And Adam Jones has an early sack as corner, something you don't see a whole lot in the Simulation Football League.
Corner blitz works to perfection. Brian Adams, the punter, on for his 2nd punt in a row. And it's going to be fair caught at the 31-yard line. Storm take possession over. No score right now with 3:32 left to go in the first.
Yeah, and this game's just going to keep going back and forth. These offenses have to figure out how to perfect their plans or how to get something else going to replace that. And we'll see if Florida can do that here.
1st and 10 for the 31. Cochran under center, 4 receivers to aim at. Defensive line shifts to the right. There's 4 men in it. Pressure coming. Cochran got the ball away, and it's caught. 2nd down and 1 as Optimus Klein hangs on for his first catch of the game.
And that was what I was talking about earlier, where Cochran has to stay composed. He did a great job there. Had defenders right in his face, but took the time to find the hole for Optimus Klein to catch that ball.
Play action, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Klein.
Yeah, they turn around and try to run the exact same play there, or something that looked pretty identical to it. And this time, just a little bit too late on the throw, and Optimus Klein was already out of bounds.
3:17 to go, first quarter. Florida facing a 3rd down and 1 at their own 40. No team really threatening to score here in the first period of play. Handoff, Doyle, first down right up the middle. Needed 1, got 2, up to the 42-yard line. And the Storm keep possession of the ball. This game, from its early stages, could come down to whoever has the ball last.
Yeah, it could easily be a back and forth game all day. Doyle doing what he's used to doing, getting 1 to 2 yards, fighting ahead, and making sure his team gets the first down on that last play.
Short pitch over the middle, nice catch. And brought down by Jacob Cleve. That catch was made by Jeff Como. 2nd down and 3.
Yeah, the Storm so far on this drive, using the whole field to their advantage, throwing the ball outside, throwing it to the middle, just trying to spread the ball out, keep the Hyenas defense guessing what they're going to do.
2:20 to go in the first quarter. Still nobody on the board yet between the Storm and the Hyenas. Low snap for Cochran. He corrals it. Pressure collapses. Steps up. Throws down the field into traffic and incomplete. It was off the back of Ethan Kibe. And it's 3rd down and 3 for Florida.
And that was another bad decision by Ron Cochran to throw that ball there. Had a bunch of Hyenas players in the middle. Lucky it didn't get picked off, as he had Vered and Zarkov down the sideline all by himself over on the left side of the field.
A little bit of impatience maybe for the veteran Cochran. He throws to the far side on 3rd and 3. That pass is caught, and turning upfield is Jeff Como. First down and more into Houston territory to the 38-yard line.
And Cochran's really got to play smart. He's got all of the weapons on offense to have a really effective game and really spread the ball out there. But so far this season just seems like he's a little too trigger happy, ready to throw the ball.
Stephen Bush, Jeff Como, E.J. Minson, and Optimus Klein, all star wide receivers on this Florida team. An embarrassment of riches for the 7-season veteran quarterback, Ron Cochran. 1st and 10 from the 38, minute 41 to go in the opening quarter. Handoff dive to Doyle. He'll pick up 3.
And that's just a chance to try and catch Houston off guard. Continuously going to the air, throwing the ball, getting the quick outs and everything. And then they're going to turn around and hand the ball off to Doyle, who got only 3 yards on that play, but one of these times it may catch Houston off and go for a lot more.
Short over the middle again. Caught by Barrett and Zarkov, and Zarkov's got a first down at the 23-yard line. This looks like a much more impressive drive from Florida. Perhaps Max Paul took the offense aside last time they were on the sideline and put something together.
Yeah, and the Storm are taking advantage of the outs so far in this game, really trying to play in the flats and be safe about it. Throw the ball at the sideline. If you can't catch it, then nobody's going to. And it's worked so far for them, as they're just outside of the red zone.
The 23-yard line, under a minute to go, first quarter. No score between the Hyenas and the Storm, but Florida is driving to try and change that before the first break. Cochran stands in the gun, fires to the far side. Optimus Klein gets out of bounds after a 5-yard gain at the 18-yard line, officially into the red zone for the first time today.
It's been a really smart game plan by the Storm. Like I said, going to the short route passes, the outs, and things like that. Houston has to be sure to take away the deep zones because, as we stated, Florida's got a lot of weapons on offense. So by giving up short plays, Florida's able to continue marching down the field.
Handoff middle, Doyle. 3rd down and 4 coming up after the 2-yard gain to the Houston 17.
Yeah, and they're able to make a good play on the ball, stop Doyle before he can get really anywhere going so far. But the Storm look to be in good position and knock it on the door of the end zone. That
will bring us to the end of a very defensive first quarter. 3 turnovers and no scores, but the Storm are in the red zone trying to change that when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Welcome back to the Eye of the Storm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The hometown Florida Storm in the red zone have a 3rd down and 4 at the Houston 17. Cochran throws to the far side, caught, and Jeff Como walks toward the end zone, and he's down at the 8-yard line, 1st down and goal.
A great veteran presence there by Jeff Como, running that out route, but making sure he's on the line where they needed to be for the 1st down, so that if he did get the ball, there was no question on whether or not he had it.
Second play of the second quarter. Cochran back to pass. Another out route. This time to the 2 and out at the 1 as Everett Garrison just got enough contact on Optimus Klein to prevent him from getting in.
Yeah, Everett Garrison playing smart there. Went low on Optimus Klein towards his legs so that Klein didn't have the chance to run him over like he tried to do, only able to push him down to the ground, and at that point had to go out of bounds.
In a passing formation here with 4 receivers on 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. Cochran under center, hard count, trying to get the defense to jump. He will snap the ball, lofted to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Florida! Stephen Bush taps the toes in the back of the end zone, and the Storm strike first.
And the Florida receivers just showing a lot of field smarts. Talking about earlier when they got that 1st down, the receiver toeing the line, and this time Stephen Bush finding the back of the end zone and making sure his feet were down in bounds.
Florida 6, Houston nothing. 10:06 to go, 2nd quarter. Here is Ethan Snead on for his first attempt of the game. This will be an extra point. Snap is good. Hold is good. Kick is good. So with 10:06 to go, Florida leads Houston 7-0. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. And if you're new to the SFL, you're watching the first controllerless esport where strategy and AI instead of thumbs determines the outcome. Teams submit game plans prior to the simulation, and the results play out in real time with hundreds of viewers turn players, scouts, coaches, and team owners on the field to create a new kind of virtual reality. Visit simulationfl.net for more information. High cash on the return, straight up the gut to the 23-yard line, and the Houston offense didn't really do much in that 1st quarter. They got to get it together here now, facing their first deficit of the ball game.
Yeah, the defensive line and front 7 as a whole for the Storm really locked down and stopped Warren Murray from getting going, and the Hyenas have to figure out a way to break that.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Kentez Johnson under center. Fullback dive this time to Stephen McMichaels, and he will pick up 4 yards. Let's get you some stats. In the 1st quarter, only 79 combined yards between the 2 teams on 30 plays with 3 turnovers, and that Florida scoring drive, which spanned the quarter break, was 13 plays, 69 yards, and a 1-yard passing touchdown. Cochran to Bush. 2nd and 6 for the Hyenas. Kentez Johnson to the gun, 3 receivers to aim at, 5 on the defensive line for the Storm. Plenty of time in the pocket, but he's going to throw short, and it's intercepted! It's intercepted on the pitch route to Warren Murray. Roland Parrott already has 2 tackles in the game, and he's got an interception.
What a fantastic play by Roland Parrott there. Sticks his arm out and kind of forms what looks to be like a cradle and just pulls that ball in right from in front of Warren Murray's eyes. Nothing he could really do about it at that point, and the Storm are set up in almost the red zone again.
That is Roland Parrott's first SFL interception of his career, as he is a rookie picked up in the 2nd round in the draft out of Albuquerque. Gives Florida the ball back at the Houston 26 and a 1-yard run from Stephen Bush. You do not often see, be it linebackers or corners or whoever's matched up on the running back on those out routes, you don't often see them trying to go for that play. They often just let the receiver catch it and try to make the tackle. It was very aggressive from the rookie Roland Parrott.
Yeah, and it paid off for him, able to make a great play on that ball and force Warren Murray to try and stop him.
Throw to the far side. That was almost intercepted right back the other way, as Jacob Clear had his hand on the ball. Clear already has an interception today.
Yeah, and I think a big stat line there that we just saw, Ron Cochran targeted Optimus Klein 7 times, but only 3 receptions. And again, it comes to the patience that we've been talking about for him this season.
3 down linemen for Houston, 3rd and 9 for the Storm from the Houston 25. Cochran to the gun, 4 receivers to aim at. Pressure coming. He throws over the middle. It hits the back of a defender and falls to the turf. That was Kai Cash with tight coverage on Stephen Bush, 4th down.
And Kai Cash was going to make sure that ball didn't get anywhere near the receiver's hands, was able to step up in front of the receiver, block the ball with his back, and then play great defense and take the receiver to the ground.
It'll be Ethan Snead on to extend the Florida lead. This one will be from 42. And the snap is good, the hold is good, the kick is on the way, and right down Main Street from 42 yards to the Florida Storm have taken a 10-0 lead, courtesy of Snead's 5th of the season. Houston will try to rally when we come back to Fort Lauderdale. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. inside the eye of the storm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Michael Tovillo, Robert Garrett Jr. behind the microphones for this one. Albert Begin and Tim Hackett also joining us on stats. And Houston now down 10-0 after the touchdown, interception, and then field goal. Let's take a little bit more time to learn about the Storm, formerly of the Alaska Storm. They're off to their worst start in their history, 0-3. Looking to turn that around today. It's their first season with a contracted running back. That'd be J.W. Doyle since season 12. And they are also 3-time back-to-back SFL champions, which is why it's so surprising that they've started so slowly here in season 15. Warren Murray trying to bounce it outside, and he'll be brought down for a loss of 1. Murray had 219 yards last week in the Houston victory over the Lone Star Glory, but yet really to get off the mark here today. 8:11 to go, second quarter. It's going to be McMichaels up the middle on a fullback dive, and he's going to get one more back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 10. And this is where the star power on the Florida defense can really, really hurt the Houston offense, because Kentez is going to have to find a long time in the pocket to get downfield here. 3rd and 10 for the 23. Kentez, high snap, pressure coming, throws down the middle, and it's intercepted. Ryan Tobin has a pick, and once again the Storm are in business in Houston territory at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, just like you said, that the defense for the Florida Storm, a very strong defense, and Kentez just not able to get anything going. Florida's got the ball back and ready to go.
It's almost a misery compiler, that interception, because Florida has a chance to go up 3 scores here when it was tied. Less than 4 minutes ago. Cochran, middle, off the knee of the defender and caught in traffic. What a crazy carom of a reception for Jeff Como, and it's 2nd down and 5.
A great play by Jeff Como to make sure he came up with that ball. Keep moving downfield for the Storm. Now looking at a 2nd and 5, and they're at the Houston 26 already, so set up in good field position as they have most of the game.
And off, Doyle brought down from behind after a gain of 1, 3rd down and 4 from the 25. Wolf Justice made that stop.
And Wolf Justice able to throw a guy down to the ground and then make the tackle after that, showing great skill and patience at the defensive end position.
That Ryan Tobin interception at the end of the last Houston possession was the 5th combined turnover in this ball game. We're not even out of the first half yet. 6:42 to go in the half. Cochran back to pass, throws short over the middle, that is caught. And E.J. Minson, who's been kind of quiet so far today, picks up a 1st down to the 18.
Yeah, and I think Houston needs to think about changing up their game plan just a little bit, playing 2 deep zone coverage, and really not a whole lot you can do about that as Florida just keeps running the short routes and dunking the ball.
It doesn't seem that the linebackers have an answer for those short crossing patterns of the Florida Storm as of this moment. Penalty flag flies with a jump off sides, and Doyle runs right through it and looks to pick up about 5 yards, and we'll see if Florida want to accept that penalty.
Yeah, it looked like that may have been the best run for J.W. Doyle on the day, but probably not going to get it as the Storm take that penalty and move forward a little bit.
After the accepted of the penalty, 1st and 5 for the Storm at the Houston 13 into the red zone for the 2nd time in this quarter. They have a touchdown and a 42-yard field goal by Ethan Snead already in this frame. Cochran, sidearm, middle, caught at the 1-yard line, and he didn't get over the line. E.J. Minson barely held back from scoring, but it's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 1.
And what a great catch by E.J. Minson there. Ron Cochran put the ball in a spot where if Minson didn't catch it, the defense might have, but able to come up with that ball right at the goal line. And they are right outside and knocking on the door.
Touchdown saving tackle by Brody Gulch, but who knows how long that will stand. Doyle into the end zone for his first touchdown of the season. Put it on the board. Florida go up 3 scores in the matter of 5 minutes.
Yeah, and J.W. Doyle, after scoring that touchdown there, gets down and proceeds to act like he's giving CPR to the football, and it looks like the Florida Storm has gotten the breath of life back in their season, and they are just fighting.
As I mentioned, J.W. Doyle, that was his first rushing touchdown of the season. And that drive goes 6 plays, 31 yards, and a 1-yard run. Snead on the extra point, puts it up and in with 5:14 to go in the second. It's all Florida as they lead the Houston Hyenas 17-0. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Florida with a 17-0 lead over Houston, and a game that was even after the first quarter has suddenly been blown wide open, as in half a quarter, Florida has put up 17 points, and 2 Houston turnovers not really helping in that regard. The Houston Hyenas now trying to get back in this game. Florida has dominated Houston for most of this series, 8 wins to 1 win for Houston, but only 2 games decided by more than 5 points. But the last meeting, the most important, back in season 13, Houston's only victory in the series came in a 19-13 win in the last game of season 13's regular season. I have a little bit more information to share about that particular game after this. 1st and 10 for the 27. Johnson floats the ball to the near side. That's caught. And a nice pitch and catch gain of 7. Leroy Brown picks it up. That game, Houston earlier in that season was 2-7. They were down and out, but they somehow scrapped off 3 wins, 2 of them against teams that made the playoffs that year, including Florida, and they beat the Storm for the first time ever on the last game of the season to somehow make it in at 5-7. Handoff, Murray trying to fight through traffic, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. And that season, they also didn't just make the playoffs, they made the second round of the playoffs. So that just goes to show you anything can happen once you get into that bracket.
Yeah, anything can happen. And, you know, Florida's got to be feeling good, up 17 points. But like we just said, anything can happen. Houston's got a fight in this game still, but they got to start putting points on the board and getting positive yards.
Well, that's not how you do it. 3rd down and 3. They're going backwards again with Warren Murray. It looks like they're just trying to dial up the game plan that worked last week against Lone Star, and the Storm defense is having none of it. Another negative run for Warren.
Yeah, the Hyenas have gone a few times in this game so far and tried to run the ball on 3rd down and short. And, I mean, I don't know that it's been successful a single time for them so far, and now they have to punt the ball away to an extremely hot Florida Storm offense.
They'll start at their own 33-yard line after the punt. Houston has not run a play inside the Florida half in the second quarter. 3:48 to go. Florida with a 17-0 lead over Houston. And this one could get ugly quick if Florida continue their dominance on offense, because it seems like they figured something out.
Yeah, they've been able to get the short passes open, and when you're moving 3 to 4 yards a play, there's not a whole lot defenses can do about that.
Handoff, Doyle middle, and it'll get back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. Chat with owners, coaches, and players in the FTF Next Twitch chat at www.twitch.tv/FTFnext to meet the players you've been watching on the screen today. Get involved, witness the passion of the community, and follow along with all the action amongst the most dedicated SFL players. The FTF Next Twitch chat at www.twitch.tv/FTFnext. Second down and 10. Here's another handoff to Doyle, and he ducked under an arm tackle and ended up picking up 8 yards before he was tackled on the play by Ethan Kai. And Kai looks to be injured on the play as well.
Yeah, Doyle been in the league for a fairly long time, but first season at running back for Florida, and able to break off a big play there. As you said, ducked under a poorly attempted a tackle and fought ahead for a few more yards.
Third down 2. Doyle again. Nope, here's play action. Throw over the middle. Intercepted! A third interception of the game for the Houston Hyenas. And now each team has thrown 3. And the Hyenas now have their best field position of the second quarter at their own 46-yard line.
And Terry Woodson just played that ball perfectly. Stepped up in front of the receiver, pulled it in, and tried to take it across the 50. At the 46, now they've got a good chance at finally making it into Storm territory if they play their cards right.
Could potentially be the spark for Houston's offense. They're going to have to come through on that side of the ball, however. Murray in the gun, 2 flanking him, 3 receivers. First and 10 at the 46, goes down the middle, pops high in the air off a deflection and hits the turf. Second down and 10.
Yeah, bad option on the throw there. 3 or 4 Storm players covering up 2 of the Hyenas receivers, and there just wasn't anything they could do about it. Good defense by the Storm. The ball pops up in the air, and now second and 10.
Johnson under center, throws to the far side, tipped and incomplete. Looking for DR Sim, knocked away by Christian Paul.
Yeah, and that's one that, the offense really played well, had a good option, tried to get the ball to DR Sim, but Christian Paul just showing great jumping, able to get up in the air, put that ball into the ground, and keep him at bay at the 46.
Third down 10 at the Houston 46-yard line. Again, 5 wide for the Hyenas. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Johnson alone in the gun. A 4-man rush for Houston is picked up. Short throw over the middle. Chance to make a first down here. And a beautiful broken tackle by Brian Horrell moves the chains into Florida territory.
Yeah, Brian Horrell showing some power there. Able to push through. Was about a yard short, but fought through the defender. Able to get the first down. And they are in Florida Storm territory for the first time in the second quarter.
Play action. Throw over the middle. Caught. And Dax Lewis, the tight end, has his first reception. That's 9 yards straight over the middle.
And it seems like the Hyenas have found their rhythm, able to slow down the pace of the game a little bit. The offensive line's playing better for them. And Kentez able to distribute the ball to his wide receiver as well.
Second and 1 from the 35, and we have hit the 2-minute warning. Houston has been bludgeoned in this second quarter, but they are trying to fight back. They've got the ball in Florida territory. When we come back to Fort Lauderdale, this is the Simulation Football League 11 Sports and For the Fans. We start with a 2nd down and 1 for Houston at the Florida 35. The Hyenas trailing the Storm 17-0. 2 minutes to go first half. Here in Fort Lauderdale, another play action. Johnson dips under a tackle, and throws to DR Sim for a first down.
And DR Sim able to make that catch, keep his toes inside of the field, and drag his way to the first down. Now at the 27, they're just outside the red zone for the first time this game. Quintez has got to continue playing smart so that they can get some points on the board before halftime.
Yep, first and 10. Johnson throws to the far side, caught and out of bounds. That's DR Sim. Oh, no. DR Sim did not stay in bounds. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 27-yard line. Get your player position locked and loaded through our Discord server in the SFL Minor League. Now 12 teams in the SFLM. There are more opportunities than ever to be a player you've always wanted to be. Join the Discord community through www.simulationfl.net. The 2nd season of the FFL Minor League starts in October 2020. 2nd down and 10 for the Hyenas. Over the middle, knocked away. Was looking for Coral in triple coverage, and Eric Hammer got the tap.
And a great play there by Eric Hammer, able to get in front of the ball and make sure that the receiver wasn't able to make possession. And something that we missed on that last play is Ethan Kai is out with leg cramps right now. He may return, but it's a big hit for the Hyenas defense.
The 2nd season, contact Deputy Commissioner Andrew Rostelli on Discord for more information about the SFL Minor League, as that pass is intercepted and all the momentum that Houston had been building goes out the window in one fell swoop as the 4th interception thrown by Quintez Johnson.
And Evan Carroll just played that ball perfectly, got in front of the receiver, figured out where the route was going, and played on that route, able to pick the ball off. And Houston will, unless there's another turnover, which there could be going how the game's gone so far, Houston's going to have to go in the half without any points.
Minute 44 to go in the half. Florida takes over at their own 13-yard line. Cochran under center. Against a 4-man rush, 3-step drop, throws to the near side. That pass is caught by Klein, and Optimus Klein fights through 2 tacklers and picks up a first down out to the 25-yard line.
Optimus Klein showing off some power there. Fights through 2 different tacklers and gets the first down before going out of bounds. So great play as well. Stops the clock for the Storm, and they can think about what they're going to do before doing it.
Now can Florida counter and get all the way into scoring position with a minute 40 to go in the first half. Short throw over the middle is caught. Looked like at his ankles by Stephen Bush, but he does pick up 9 yards to the 33-yard line.
It seemed like Ron Cochran may have second-guessed that throw as he threw the ball. Came in a little low, and Stephen Bush was able to pull it in just short of the first down for the Storm. And the clock's ticking, so if they want points, they got to move quick.
2nd down, 1. Minute 7 to go at the snap. Handoff. Doyle up the middle. First down as he moves the pile. And Florida will go up tempo just to try and maybe rattle the Houston defense a little bit. Cochran, far side, caught, and then tackled out of bounds is Jeff Como. 54 seconds to go first quarter. Florida 2nd and 4th at their own 42.
Yeah, and a big part of the Storm gameplay, and as we've talked about, has been those out routes. Great play there to pull it out for Jeff Como. Able to advance the ball downfield some, but also stop the clock. 54 seconds left to go. They got plenty of time if they can get downfield quick.
Their own 42-yard line. Cochran takes the snap, fires middle, almost intercepted. And Everett Garrison had the end zone in his sights, but the ball ends up hitting the turf.
Yeah, the Hyenas, for one of the first times so far in this game, were waiting for the out route. We're expecting it. 2 different guys over there, and just makes a great play on the ball.
50 seconds to go in the first half. Florida facing a 3rd down and 4 at its own 42-yard line. Cochran hands it off to Doyle. Doyle right through the middle. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage and nothing more. So the clock will click down, and they only have to run one more play before the half.
Yeah, the Hyenas playing good defense here on this last drive, able to force them into a 4th and 2. So don't have to worry about Florida scoring any more points. They can go into halftime and figure out how to readjust their game plan.
First punt of the day from Marcus Agrippa. And with only 9 seconds left, this should take us to the half. Kai Cash back to receive for Houston. He'll field it at his own 10-yard line and be tackled at the 20. We have reached the halftime intermission. The Florida Storm 17, the Houston Hyenas 20. And Robert Garrett Jr. is here to talk us through that first half.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big talking point about this first half has been how ineffective Houston's been on offense, not really able to get anything going. Kentez Johnson, 7 completions for 17 attempts for 7 completions at 56 yards. Warren Murray, only 12 yards on 9 attempts. Officially 18 yards on 9 attempts. Just haven't been able to get the ball going offensively like they would want to, and Florida's taken full advantage of that.
It was all even through the first quarter, and then in the span of 5 minutes to start the second, Florida capped off a drive with a touchdown, got an interception, turned it into 3 points, and then got another interception and turned it into J.W. Doyle's first touchdown of the season. And just like that, it went from pretty even to completely one-sided. And then, of course, late in the second quarter, another interception for the Storm ended a very promising Hyena drive. And turnovers have been the main storyline so far through this game. 3 for Houston, 4 for Florida through the first half. It seems like nobody wants to hang on to the ball.
Yeah, the quarterbacks are just playing a little too impatient or making some bad decisions, throwing the ball towards double and triple coverage, which ends up being the interception. The big thing I also see is that only 1 sack on both sides for each team, and the one from Florida coming from corner Adam Jones, a position you don't normally see getting in there and getting the sack.
As you see there, that was Doyle's first touchdown of the year here in week number 4 of the Simulation Football League's 14th season. The Florida Storm still looking for their first victory, although they have faced a gauntlet in the opening 3 weeks. They lost to the Queen City Corsairs, then the Jacksonville Kings in a cross-Florida matchup, and then, of course, the heartbreaker last week as the Vancouver Legion scored a long touchdown with under a minute to go to steal that one up north of the border. And now they've got a healthy advantage, a 17-0 lead as we head into the second half here on their home turf in Fort Lauderdale, the Eye of the Storm. Not impossible for a comeback, but something's got to change in the Hyena locker room at halftime.
Yeah, they got to figure out how to get their offense a little more effective. I mean, that's been a big part of it. So if they can get that going, then I believe the Hyenas have a good chance to get back in this game.
They will get the ball to begin the second half of play. Ethan Sneed, ball on the tee, hand in the air, game on here in the second half. From the goal line, here's Kai Cash, 15-20, and down at the 23-yard line. And if you were in Damon Simeon's shoes and had the offense that Houston has had so far, what would you do to try and fix it heading into the second half of play?
I mean, a big part, I think, would be to figure out how to get Leroy Brown and DR Sim open. 2 really big playmakers for their offense, and really neither of them's had a great game. 1 reception for Leroy and 2 for DR.
Warren Murray really has been quiet. We mentioned at the top he would be their main bell cow. He gets the carry there and picks up 5. We haven't heard hide nor tail of Leroy Brown in this game, as he's racked up 299 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean the big receiver so far for the Hyenas has been their number 3 guy, Brian Horrell, with 2 receptions, 25 yards. Played great for him when they needed him.
Off Murray back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Brown has 1 reception on 2 targets for 7 yards, so he is over 300 yards for the season. But still not the output you would expect by the team's leading receiver through 3 weeks. Third down and 5 for Houston from their own 28. Pass to the corner, and it's caught. First down. And that is how you get receivers open. That's DR Sim, rather, picking up that catch.
Yeah, and Kentez got lucky that DR Sim is as good of a player as he is. That ball was thrown a little too far to the sideline, where Sim really had to stretch out and make sure he had 1 foot inbounds to make the catch.
Five on the defensive line for the Storm. Murray back to pass, and the pass was batted out of his hand right as he threw it, as Deontay White broke through and knocked it away.
Yeah, and those are the big things for the Hyenas. Their offensive line has to play well and keep Kentez Johnson protected. Something we talked about earlier in the game is how effective this front 7 is for the Storm. So Houston's got to fight against that.
2nd and 10. Handoff. Murray looking for a lane. Spin move to get by 1. Can't get by the second one. Gain of 3. 3rd down and 7. Right now, Kentez Johnson has as many pass attempts, 17, as Ron Cochran has completed passes. He has completed 17 of 26.
Yeah, it's just been a whole different ball game when each of these offenses have been on the field so far. But it seems like maybe Houston started to figure things out. They're moving the ball a little bit more effectively.
Johnson, middle, caught, first down. Nice post route by Don Mathis. And everybody putting in work for the Hyenas to extend the drive.
And Mathis able to get to the middle of the field, back behind the defenders where there was really nobody there to make the play. So once he caught the ball, all he had to do was turn up field and hope he didn't get caught from behind, which he did.
Johnson moves in the pocket, and here's Alex Dominguez, and down goes Kentez Johnson. Big sack for Alex Dominguez, his first of the season.
Yeah, and if you're a quarterback and you're going up against the defensive line for the Florida Storm, such as Alex Dominguez, you cannot step up in the pocket towards him. Leads in all-time in sacks and tackles for loss, so in the backfield a lot.
The 8th-season veteran, that is his 167th sack of his career, and he continues to put distance between himself and everybody else. 2nd down and 16 now from the Houston 41. Johnson with 5 receivers to aim at. He fires down the field into one-on-one coverage, and it's knocked away. Looking for Leroy Brown, Ryan Davidson was there to knock it down.
And Kentez got really lucky there. The way that Ryan Davidson swatted that ball away, it stayed up in the air for quite a while, and the rest of the Storm defense was trying to get to the ball. So lucky that ball was not intercepted after the tip.
3rd and 16. Johnson throws it short and incomplete. He was looking at DR Sim over the middle, and now it's 4th and a country mile, and on comes the punting unit.
Yeah, Houston, just when you thought they had it figured out and they were moving the ball, Florida's defense stepped up and made sure that nobody was getting anywhere. So the Hyenas now have to punt again, and we get to see Florida come out and see how they adjusted their offense that was already on fire.
Ryan Adams was close to getting that punt blocked, but he gets it away. And after we come back, Florida will have the football at the 23-yard line. They're up 17. We'll see what their offense can do next when we come back to the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Eye of the Storm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the hometown. Florida Storm have a 17-0 lead and the football over the Houston Hyenas. I'm Michael Torello. Robert Garrett Jr. is alongside me. Short pass to the near side right is caught. And picking up 4 yards is Jeff Como. We've got a massive week 4 coming up ahead of us, both today, tomorrow, and Monday.
Yeah, I know. I personally am looking forward to the I-35 shootout, Fort Worth and Lone Star for the first time.
Second and 6, handoff Doyle, pick up a 3.
But
I'm really interested to see the Charleston and Atlanta game. And one of those teams will go 1-3. Atlanta, the reigning champions. Charleston made the playoffs last season, so a bit of a rough start for those two clubs. Third down 3, handoff, and Doyle gets crushed behind the line. So a quick 3 and out for the Houston defense. Nice tackle that time by Tina Begin, the rookie out of Albuquerque. And the Hyenas offense will get the ball back.
yeah, Tina Begin just fights straight through the center's face, gets into the backfield, and drops Doyle quickly before he can make any plays.
Marcus Agrippa on for only his second punt of the afternoon, and he gets it away cleanly from his own 20. It's a high, booming kick all the way to the opposing 20, 80 yards in the air, and Kai Cash can only return it to the 27-yard line. Download CrowdPlay, our new partner for 2020, and play the game about the game. Follow the action and answer questions for a chance to win a share of $1,000 prize pool. Your next chance to win is Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern when the undefeated Louisiana Revolution travel to face the Mexico City Aztecs. Visit crowdplay.com for more information. Johnson, flanked by receivers, throws middle incomplete. Was looking for DR Sim. And it's second down and 10.
It seems like just repetitive motion for Kentez Johnson at this point. Just keeps throwing the ball at these double-covered receivers, and was lucky that the ball wasn't picked off again by Evan Carroll there.
Second and 10 from the 27-yard line for Houston. Kentez Johnson under center has 4 receivers to aim at, 3 of them spread out to the right, 1 of them to the left. Handoff, Murray running left side, breaks 1 tackle, still fighting through contact, and picks up 4 yards to the 32. And Deontay White, remember he made that fantastic play earlier to knock down a pass at the point of contact, is down on the field.
And Warren Murray, from the second that he crossed the line of scrimmage, was just fighting through contact. And looks like a big block there by Brian Horrell put Deontay into the ground. And as you said, big-time injury for this Florida Storm defensive line.
Been no easy yards today for Warren Murray. Third down and 6. 6:09 to play third quarter. Johnson throws, almost intercepted again. It was knocked to the ground out there at the corner spot. And it's 4th down and 6. And again, neither of these teams want the football. Evan Carroll knocked the ball down.
And that ball intended for Leroy Brown. I don't think it was necessarily a bad choice by Kentez to throw that ball there, but he's got to aim it a little better, put a little more air underneath it, get it up there, and throw it towards the sideline. The receiver has a better chance to make a play.
Once again, Brian Adams on a punt from his own 20-yard line, gets it away. Fair catch fault called for and taken at the Florida 34-yard line. That's where the Storm will start. They've got a 17-0 lead. There's 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League, and replica jerseys are now available. Get your name on the back of your team's or your fan favorite team's jersey and visit team stores and libraries for purchase options through sector6apparel.com or through our website at simulationfl.net. Just hit the shop button. Cochran, short middle, caught. Gain of 6 up to the 40-yard line.
The big play there by the Hyenas defense to stop him before he can get any momentum going. And just an interesting little fact so far in this game, there's only one drive so far that has been more than 32 yards. So both defenses playing pretty stingy despite what the score shows. And we'll see if Florida can make the span.
Nice run by Doyle through contact all the way, first down to the Florida 44. And on your previous point, it's been a real big field position game, and the Houston Hyenas' mostly lack of offensive production means they're giving up field position to Florida so they don't have to go that far. Right now, they're at their own 44-yard line. They got a fresh set of downs with 5 minutes to go in the third. Handoff Doyle, 7 yards up the middle. Man, J.W. Doyle has really impressed today. And we've thought that he might coming into the day because the Houston defense gives up 136 rush yards per game. That is good for worst in the SFL.
And J.W. Doyle struggled so far this season, but looks like he's starting to find his groove in this game. 16 attempts for 39 yards and a touchdown.
That's a nice post route over the middle. First down into Houston territory at the 36-yard line. Cochran is dialed in, has been since the start of the second quarter, and is throwing lasers. That one to Optimus Klein.
Yeah, and Optimus Klein makes a great catch. The ball goes right over the defender's shoulders, and Klein able to make something out of it, so they continue marching down the field now at the Houston 36.
Cochran again, short drop over the middle. That one's knocked away. Batted down by Alonzo Hamilton, and Deontay White doesn't look like he'll return to this ball game.
And great play there by the linebacker, able to come up on the ball and just make sure that the Storm couldn't do anything with it, just smack it straight to the ground and move on.
When the Storm are back on defense, look for Charles Walker to step into the place vacated by White. 2nd and 10 at the 36. Cochran under pressure, throws middle, incomplete. He was looking for Stephen Bush out there, and it was knocked away.
And we touched on it a few times so far this game. It just doesn't seem like either quarterback really wants to keep the ball on offense. And the last couple plays, Cochran really throwing the ball what looks to be right at defenders, making some bad choices, maybe a little shaken up in the backfield.
4 wide on 3rd and 10. Cochran throws into the single coverage, and it's intercepted. Wow. Both teams have turned the ball over 4 times, all of them via the interception, and Everett Garrison grabs one.
And that was the first interception of the game for Everett Garrison, able just to get up there in front of Optimus Klein and pull that ball in. Little rough there on the return. Could have taken the ball downfield a little bit more, but tripped himself up and got out of bounds.
Get this, 8 interceptions by 8 different players, and I'll read you their names after this. 1st and 10 for the Houston 19-yard line. Handoff middle, Warren Murray, nice spin move, and again to get past the second level. That's the best run of the day from Warren Murray by far as he picks up a first down to the 32-yard line.
And that's the explosiveness from Warren Murray that we are used to seeing so far this season for the Hyenas. Able to fight through a couple contacts, but just keeps on going downfield.
So the interceptors for Florida, Roland Parrott, Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, and Ryan Tobin each have 1. 1st and 10 for Houston from their own 32, power I against the 5-man rush, play action. And Johnson hits DR Sim on an out route for 6. For Houston, Jacob Clear has 1. Everett Garrison has 1. Brady Clark has 1.
Yeah, both defenses, big time plays by their big time players. And the Hyenas defense just trying to keep them in the game so far. Now, their offense needs to repay the favor and make sure they find the end zone.
Second and 4, Murray hit behind the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet, and breaks 3 tackles, and he gets to the open field. Warren Murray is going to go to the house, unbelievably. Wow, touchdown Houston.
And it comes to show, you can't abandon the run game at really any point, because at some time you're going to catch these defenses worn out and tired, and that's what they did there. Florida had multiple chances to take Warren Murray down, and it just seems like their fatigue caught up to him. Warren Murray takes it to the end zone.
There is the Warren Murray we have all been waiting to see. It's taken almost 3 quarters for him to arrive in the Storm Stadium today. But finally he breaks off a 62-yard run in a play that really should have been about a 4-yard loss. And he has now doubled his total on the day, as he only had 30 yards on the ground prior to that. Kick on the way, and good for the first time on the field for Nico Cappuccino since the opening kickoff. And we may have a ball game here. Houston 7, Florida 17, 2:58 to go, third quarter.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Houston looks like they lit that spark and they're ready to go. The Storm have got to keep composed and play well on offense. Try to keep the ball out of the Hyenas' hand, as they seem to have gotten things figured out.
From the 10-yard line to the 30 and up to the 33-yard line. That run by Warren Murray reminded me very much of Tommy Frazier back when he played for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. First down and 10 for the 33-yard line. Back to Fort Lauderdale. I can reminisce about college football later. Short over the middle. That's almost intercepted again. It was intended for Stephen Bush. And Alonzo Hamilton jumped in front of it. Hamilton probably could have 3 interceptions today.
Yeah, Alonzo Hamilton playing really well for Houston down the stretch in this game, coming up with a lot of big pass deflections, putting the ball into the ground and trying to get their defense off the field quickly.
Second and 10. Cochran 3-step drop to the far side on an out route. That pass is caught. And Everett Garrison makes the tackle on Optimus Klein, gain of 5.
Yeah, 3rd and 5 now for the Storm. This is a spot that they don't mind being in so far in the game, using a lot of out routes and things like that. Could be an easy pickup if the Hyenas defense is caught sleeping.
Fires far side down the field. Intercepted again! It's another pick down the field for Brady Clark. He's the first person to have 2 interceptions today. It's the 9th total on the ball game, and Florida has begun to self-destruct.
Yeah, and Ron Cochran starting to get a little lazy, just swinging the ball around wherever he goes, and it's starting to pay for him now, as the Hyenas defense making good plays.
Houston down 10 with the football. When we come back to South Florida, you're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and for the fans, don't go anywhere. Back in South Florida, the Storm have a 17-7 lead over the Houston Hyenas, but another interception has given Houston the ball inside Storm territory. Here goes Warren Murray. He breaks a tackle, and he's down to the Florida 29-yard line.
Warren Murray running with a lot of power in the second half so far. I honestly thought he might have a chance to break that one off for a touchdown, but great play by Ryan Tobin to hang on and make the shoestring tackle.
If you're just joining us, you've missed a heck of a game. There have been 9 interceptions from 8 different players, including the second of the game, by Brady Clark to set up this Houston drive. 1st and 10 for the 21. They'll go empty set. Johnson, middle, caught on a stretch at a first down inside the red zone to the 16-yard line. There's Leroy Brown. Haven't heard from him since the first quarter.
Yeah, both these receivers top on their team, and really both of them having a pretty lackluster game. Minson with 2 receptions for 16 yards. Leroy Brown now with 2 receptions for 20 yards, whereas they've been the guy to go to so far for each of their teams.
Coming into the game, Leroy Brown, 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. And E.J. Minson, 209 yards and 1 score. 1st and 10 from inside the 16. Here's Warren Murray right up Broadway at the 10 and dragged down by his shoestrings at the 7-yard line after a 9-yard scamper.
Yeah, Warren Murray playing great right now, able to keep his feet moving no matter the contact and fight for as many yards as he can get.
2nd and 1 at the Florida 7. 55 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Handoff. Murray gets a block to the 5, and he's down inside the 1-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Alfredo Massenet.
It took most of 3 quarters, but the Hyenas have figured out how to get Warren Murray going, and now they're right outside of the end zone at the 1.
Florida backs against the goal line at the 1. Houston with 23 seconds to go. Handoff. Murray, he's done it again. 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter for Murray, and this is a 1-score ball game.
And that was the easiest run of the game for Warren Murray by far. Offensive line opens a big gap for him just to walk into the end zone, and they are just down by 4 points pending the extra point.
2 touchdowns and 110 yards on 2 drives for Murray in this 3rd quarter. Previous to that, he only had 4 yards through the first half.
He went from averaging about 2 yards per carry now to 7 with that long of 62. Helped boost his stats a little bit, but running a lot better for the Hyenas.
Cappuccino up and good, and we have a 3-point football game. Florida 17, Houston 14, as we're 21 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter.
And now the Storm offense, has to think about what they want to do. Can't get sloppy with these throws now, as the Hyenas defense seems to have Ron Cochran's number.
Well, it took us a while to get there, but we finally have our intriguing contest that we thought we would have at the top of the game. Because 5 of the 9 meetings between these 2 teams decided by 5 points or less.
Yeah, these teams have been very competitive with each other, minus a couple games here and there. And the who you got was just as torn, 57.4% leaning towards Florida. So a little bit more thought that the Storm would be able to pull it out, but the Hyenas have something to say about that.
1st and 10 for the Florida 33. Cochran, who's thrown 2 interceptions on his last 2 drives, short over the middle this time. He'll pick up 8. And that should do it for the 1st quarter. Feridun Zarkov on the catch. We have reached the end of the 3rd quarter. Just 11 minutes to go, and it's a 3-point game. Florida 17, Houston 14. Don't miss the exciting conclusion after this. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Start of the fourth quarter at the Eye of the Storm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Houston Hyenas trailed the Florida Storm 17-14. They were down 17-0 and then scored 14 points in the blink of an eye. 2 touchdown runs by the previously invisible Warren Murray. 2nd and 2 for the Storm. Handoff J.W. Doyle. He says, anything you can do, I can do better, and picks up a first down to the Florida 48-yard line. I'm Michael Torello. Robert Garrett Jr. is alongside me. Albert Begin and Tim Hackett are along on stats as well.
Yeah, and Doyle moving over from the fullback position, used to just fighting ahead, trying to get the 2 to 3 yards, and that's what he's been able to do so far this game, averaging 2.8 yards per carry.
Cochran, play action, throw short, near side left, and it is caught by Optimus Klein for a gain of 3. I think for Florida, the main key here going into the fourth quarter is to just calm the game down a bit. You had a 17-point lead. You were in control. Then a couple of interceptions led to 2 touchdowns for Houston. Now you've got the ball back. It's time to bleed some clock.
Yeah, they can't get away from what was working for them in the first half. They got to use those out routes and things to their advantage and make sure that Houston isn't getting a chance to catch the deep ball.
Cochran, middle, tipped, and incomplete. It was bobbled around out there, but eventually hit the turf. Brody Gulch with the final touch.
And Brody Gulch also the one actually that started the little tip contest. See if they could bat it back and forth. Great play by the rookie, and the Hyenas now forced a 3rd down.
It seems that every time Ron Cochran tries to stretch the field, it's always into double or triple coverage, and that's where the interceptions come from as we take a look at 3rd down defensive percentage for these teams. It's in favor of Houston, and here is a 3rd down. Cochran, middle, has a man behind the defense, and it's caught at the 10, at the 5, and out of bounds right there. And that's the first downfield shot for Ron Cochran that I can remember working in this football game.
Yeah, and it came very close, but Jeff Como able to make a great play and get up and get that ball. And, I mean, if there's anything good for the Hyenas, it's that Ethan Kai-Isback was out earlier in the game with leg cramps, but was actually the one to save the touchdown there and push the receiver out of bounds.
Now Florida, they got rocked, but they're trying to come and deal the knockout blow here early in the fourth. Up 3. 1st and goal at the Houston 5. Handoff, Doyle, and he walks into the end zone untouched. Touchdown, Storm.
And Doyle took a big shot after he scored that touchdown. Brady Clark made sure that if he made it into the end zone, he was going to feel the pain from it. But Doyle able to score his 2nd touchdown on the season, both coming in this game.
Ethan Snead is on for the extra point to restore the 10-goal advantage for Florida. But the way this game has exploded into life in the later stages of the 3rd and now the first part of the 4th, I wouldn't bet against anything happening at this point. Houston on the ball next with 9:49 to go. Don't forget there's a full slate of games left this week in the Simulationfl League. And I guess while I've got time, I'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard presented by ScoreStream, the official live scoring app of the SFL. Only one game in the books. The Arizona Scorpions, a dominating 38-17 win earlier today over the Jacksonville Kings. How about the Scorpions? They're 3-1 after a somewhat mediocre opening season to their existence in Arizona. They've got it all fired on all cylinders. We got the game now, which is the 2nd game of the week. We got 2 more tonight on Twitch and YouTube, both at 7 p.m. On Twitch, it's Tulsa hosting St. Louis, and on YouTube, it's the Lone Star Glory and the Fort Worth Toros. Both of those games at Simulationfl on Twitch and YouTube. 1st and 10 for Houston. Handoff, Murray, right side, tries to break a tackle. Can't do it. 2nd down and 9. On Sunday, we've got 5 games for your enjoyment. 3 of them on the 11 Sports Network. Baltimore hosts Denver to kick it off on ESN at 12:30 p.m. 2:30 p.m. we go London hosting Chicago, and Mexico City hosts Louisiana at 4:30 p.m. in the crowd play game of the week. Handoff, Murray up the middle, space to run, picks up 4, 3rd down and 5 coming up from the 34. Then on Twitch at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Carolina hosts Portland in a battle of teams trying to right the ship, and Sioux Falls hosts Las Vegas. That's Carolina and Portland on Twitch and Sioux Falls, Las Vegas on YouTube. 3rd down and 5 from the 34-yard line. Back to throw. Johnson, middle. Picked off the deflection. The game keeps swinging back and forth, and who knows where the needle will stop, but Andrew Francis becomes the 9th individual to intercept a football this afternoon.
Yeah, Andrew Francis just at the right place at the right time, able to get the ball off of the tip, intercept it, and the Storm have the ball again. I look for them to try and use Doyle, slow the pace of the game down, and let the clock run out.
They could put the nail in the coffin here if they use the time and the score correctly. 1st and 10 for Florida from the Houston 34. Cochran back to pass, middle, almost gave it right away again.
Yeah, and that was a scary throw by Ron Cochran. 10 interceptions total on the game so far between these two teams, and almost an 11th seen there.
In and out of the hands of Alonzo Hamilton, who probably should have 3 picks by himself, but hasn't had one yet. 2nd and 10 from the 34. Handoff, Doyle goes nowhere, 3rd down and 10. And then on Monday night, to complete the rundown of this week's games, Queen City hosts Vancouver at 7 p.m. on 11 Sports and For the Fans. And then to round it off, we teased this matchup earlier. It's a battle of 1 and 3 teams that did not expect to be there, as Atlanta, the reigning champions, host Charleston at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's also on 11 Sports and For the Fans. That was your out-of-town scoreboard, presented by ScoreStream. Throw to the near side, wide open, but taking a big hit to pick up a 1st down is E.J. Minson.
Yeah, and the Hyenas back off again, as we talked about they did earlier in the game, in the first half especially, just playing deep zone. Everett Garrison then comes up and makes a big hit on Minson, but already did the damage as he got a 1st down for the team.
7 minutes and 51 seconds to go and counting. The Florida Storm hold a 24-14 lead over Houston. They're at the Houston 21-yard line trying to close this one out. Cochran over the middle, caught for 8-yard gain. Brody Gulch brought down the receiver, Optimus Klein.
Yeah, a little bit of a rookie move there by Brody Gulch. Tried to get his hand in there and bat the ball down, but was a little too far away. And for a big receiver like Optimus Klein, you got to be a little more aggressive in trying to bat the ball away.
4 receivers and a tight end at the 13-yard line. 7:11 to go. Cochran on a 3-step drop. Again, the post route is wide open, and Optimus Klein takes it down to the 4.
And the Florida Storm are again marching. Came out in an interesting formation there and had the defensive backs for the Hyenas stacked on top of each other, able to cause a little bit of a disruption and run that quick slant route.
Here's Doyle from the 4 between the tackles down at the 1-yard line. Couldn't quite get in for his 2nd touchdown of the season. Hamilton made the crucial intervention, 2nd and goal.
And J.W. Doyle just goes down a little bit too early. I thought maybe he got into the end zone, but his knee must have touched down on the ground just right before he crossed the line.
Doyle will get a chance from inside the 1-yard line if they choose to go that route. It's going to be a play action. It's going to go to the end zone. It's going to be knocked away as Perez got a hand to it. 3rd down and goal.
I think the Hyenas are playing great pass defense here, but Florida's got to think about giving the ball to Doyle. I mean, he's built for power, able to fight ahead for 1 to 2 yards, and that's all he needs here.
On 3rd and goal, from inside the 1, J.W. Doyle doesn't get in. He tried to bounce it outside, and Brody Gurch shoved him to the turf.
Yeah, the linebackers for the Hyenas came up quick and just swallowed up any chance of scoring J.W. Doyle had. Forces a 4th down, and the Storm are going to try to kick a field goal.
I did incorrectly state that Doyle was looking for his 2nd touchdown of the game. He has 2 already. That would have been his 3rd, but water under bridge, 4th down and goal. Here comes Ethan Snead, a chip shot. Field goal is good. So it's a 17-point advantage for Florida. Houston right back in the hole that they were in before, but now with only 5 minutes and 30 seconds to get the job done. We'll be back to South Florida in a moment. Five minutes and 29 seconds to go from South Florida. The Florida Storm have a 27-14 lead over the Houston Hyenas. I'm Michael Torello. Robert Garrett Jr. is alongside me in commentary. Tim Hackett and Albert Beginner alongside on stats as well.
And with 5.5 minutes left to go in this 4th quarter, Houston has got to get downfield and score quickly. They're running out of time, and Florida's defense has been playing really well.
Remember, Houston scored their 14 points in a total of about 5 minutes to begin the third, or the end of the 3rd quarter. Of course, they took advantage of 2 Cochran interceptions to get that done. Johnson air mails it, incomplete. It looked for all the world like that was going to be picked off by Ryan Tobin, but it hits the turf, and, well, Houston has a lifeline.
Yeah, Ryan Tobin's got to be disappointed in himself. He basically had a hold of that ball the entire time, but was bobbling it, and it ended up falling to the ground. So Houston continuing on offense.
Would have been his 2nd interception of the game. 10 total interceptions in this one. Warren Murray bottled up and dropped, loss of 1, 3rd down to 11 coming up.
Andrew Francis came off the outside edge, kind of over by where the corner would line up to make that tackle, stop Warren Murray before he could get any momentum going.
It's all going to be on the arm of Kentez Johnson, who has not had a great game by his lofty standards. 3rd and 11. He has plenty of time in the pocket. He completes the ball down the field in tight coverage. Brian Horrell bails out his quarterback, and it's 1st down. At the 34-yard line, here comes the up-tempo. Johnson near side, caught and out of bounds goes Leroy Brown, gain of 5 yards.
And Quintez so far looking effective on this drive, but so far in the game as a total, he hasn't been doing very well. He actually has more incompletions than he does completions. His official completion percentage, about 41.4, just hasn't been able to get it going so far in most of the game.
4 wide plus a tight end, no backs. For Kentez Johnson, lobs it over the middle, in and out of the hands of the receiver. He was looking for Mathis.
And that's one that Mathis is going to wish he had back. Had a perfect chance to make that catch, but on the contact, spun around and lost control of the ball.
Another 3rd down facing the Houston Hyenas offense. 3rd and 5 from their own 39. 4:28 to go at the snap. Johnson, a 7-step drop. He fires deep down the middle of the field, and it's caught in triple coverage. Leroy Brown shows up again into Florida territory at the 35, and the up-tempo offense comes out again.
Yeah, if there was a better time to get Leroy Brown going for the Hyenas, it's now.
Johnson again, deep, middle, tipped, incomplete. Ryan Tobin got his hand to the football, and it's 2nd and 10, and we can take a breath.
I think off of that tip there, Leroy Brown lost sight on where the ball was going. Had a chance. He could have caught it when it was deflected as it went in front of him, but just didn't seem like he could find the ball and able to come up with it.
Second and 10 from the Florida 35. Down by 17, 4:07 to go are the Hyenas. Kentez facing a 4-man rush, goes short, and Dom Mathis makes the catch, but he's inbounds after only a gain of 4. The clock ticks down. Johnson, under pressure, goes again short, and Brown is inches shy of a 1st down. Again inbounds, so the clock continues to run under 3:45 to go.
Quintez just slightly underthrew that football there, which made Leroy Brown have to come back and get it. Was at a spot where he could have gotten a 1st down, but because he had to go back, wasn't able to get it.
4th and inches. Might as well be 4th and ball game. Johnson in an empty set. He faces a 4-man rush. He throws to the far side. Man open out there. Caught! 1st down for Houston, and getting out of bounds at the 19-yard line is the veteran D.R. Sim.
D.R. Sim, one of the best receivers in the game, able to get open there on an out route and find the sidelines to stop the clock for the Hyenas, let them have a little more time in the huddle to figure out what they want to run.
Inside the red zone, just at the 19-yard line. 3:18 to go at the snap. Johnson flush, throws end zone, intercepted at the goal line, and that should just about do it. Andrew Francis on the interception. His 2nd of the ball game and the 11th combined between the teams, and it's pretty much only fitting that an interception will essentially end this football game.
Now, what I will tell you here, Michael, is that the Storm have to be very careful what they do when they come out of the huddle here. If they try to run the ball with Doyle, there's a big chance that he could get tackled in the end zone, and the Hyenas could get the ball back off of a safety.
They do have Doyle. Oh, no, it's a play action, and Cochran barely gets the ball away, and it's batted down. How often has Alonzo Hamilton had his mitts on the ball in the middle of the field? It must be 5 or 6 times. Yeah,
Alonzo Hamilton playing out for the Hyenas, making his name known to the Simulation Football League, and doing great things for him. Ron Cochran also almost got sacked in the backfield and would have ended up being a safety, but able to get that ball off when he did.
So you're right, it may not be over just about. 3:10 to go. A 17-point advantage for the Florida Storm. They're at their own 2-yard line. This time a handoff to Doyle, and Doyle gets 2 to the 4, and that should give them a little bit of breathing space.
Doyle able to fight ahead for his 2 yards per carry, as he's done most of the game, 2.6 average, and doesn't really bail them out, but gives them a little bit more breathing room from the end zone.
From the 4-yard line, 3rd and 8. 2:37 and counting in the ball game. A 17-point advantage for the Florida Storm. It's Doyle up the middle, met at the line of scrimmage. He falls forward for 1 yard. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in about 20 seconds.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see when the Storm come out to punt. I would not be surprised to see Houston sending a lot of pressure on the punter, seeing if they're able to get in the backfield and block it.
2 minutes to go in the ball game. Florida just needs one more defensive stop to take their first win of the season. They'll do that when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Marcus Agrippa standing in the back of his own end zone. 2 minutes to go here in Fort Lauderdale. The Florida Storm have a 27-14 lead over the Houston Hyenas. It's going to be decent field position for Houston inside Florida territory, as that punt not at the high standards of Marcus Agrippa. 1st and 10 at the 37. For the last time, I am Michael Trillo. Alongside me is Robert Garrett Jr., Tim Hackett, and Albert Begin.
Yeah, and the Hyenas special teams did not come out and try to block that punt. Kind of a curious decision at where they were on the field, see if they could get anything done. But now they're looking at putting the game on Quintez again.
But with 1 minute 51 to go, it's got to happen, and it's got to happen now. And that pass is incomplete. Looking for Leroy Brown.
And Quintez seemed to be a little upset with how that play panned out, but just great defense on the Storm side as Leroy Brown had a chance to catch that. It was right in his chest, but the defender was able to get in there and make contact.
Four receivers to aim at for Houston. Only 3 down linemen for Florida. They'll only send 3. And it's short over the middle for Houston. And they don't call a timeout. 3rd down and 3 at the Florida 29. Low snap for Johnson. Again, over the middle. That pass is caught by Dax Lewis. And again, hurry up they go.
And it seems like they're stuck in a play that they like. They're running the all slants. And Quintez is able to just keep hitting the one guy.
He goes to the end zone. It's caught by Leroy Brown. He took it out of Davidson's hands and scores.
And Leroy Brown, as you said, great play by a veteran receiver. Was just covered all over, but able to snatch the ball out of the air, out of the defender's hands, and get a touchdown on the board for the Hyenas and bring them a little closer in.
That may be the first 50-50 ball that's been thrown by either quarterback tonight that has not resulted in an interception. And Leroy Brown comes down with it in the end zone. And now, after pending the extra point, it's a 6-point game. That drive, 4 plays, 36 yards, with a 20-yard passing touchdown, Johnson to Brown. Kick on the way, and good from Cappuccino. So now, I am quite sure we're going to see an onside kick attempt. And if it works, hold on to your seats.
Yeah, Houston, as you said, going to attempt to onside kick the ball. Down by 6 points. They're really hopeful here. Florida's got to play tight on special teams to come up with this ball.
Ball bounces high in the air. It's on the ground, and Florida comes up with it. It was close. Closer than a lot of for onside kicks that I've seen. But Florida still needs a first down to get a field goal range to end this game.
Yeah, and it seemed like the Hyenas special teams just didn't get off the ball moving there. Took their time getting to the onside kick, and it gave Florida the chance to get a man under the ball.
With a minute 18 to go, here's Doyle up the middle, 1 yard. First timeout called for Houston. And if they can bottle him up, they'll have no timeouts, but they will have the ball back.
And it's looking good for Houston if Florida decides to keep going to Doyle, only averaging 2.5 yards per carry. They should still be behind the chains by third down.
And off Doyle. He has a lane. He picks up 4 yards. Third down and 4, and this is the biggest play of the ball game right here for the Florida Storm offense. So do they go back to Doyle, or do they try and get one of those out routes that have had the defense confused all game?
Yeah, it's really a toss-up. They've had a lot of success generally on offense, but playing one of the best defenses against the third downs with Houston with 41%.
Cochran's in the shotgun. Cochran's going to throw. It's Optimus Klein who puts the game on ice with a first down, and they went to the out route once again, and Everett Garrison did not have the answer.
Yeah, and who better to go to for the Florida Storm than Optimus Klein on a must-make play there, able to get the first down in Houston with 1 timeout left. It's not looking good.
And they have done the math. They are in the victory formation. And Florida will get it done. They'll grab their first win of the season. 27-21 in a game that Houston kept close with a couple of big plays. And this tail of the tape is interceptions.
Yeah, and I mean, the story of the season for Florida has been these close games, and generally have came out on the other side of it, just taking heartbreaking losses, but able to play tight. Their defense played well, 6 interceptions, and for the most part in the game contained Warren Murray. The Storm came out and gave a good game to their home crowd.
11 interceptions combined on the day. From 9 different interceptors. Also 20 pass defenses. This is the kind of game the Florida Storm consistently won when they were on that 3 straight title run back a couple of seasons ago. Are we seeing a Storm resurgence? They moved to 1-3. Houston drops to 2-2. As the final seconds tick off the clock here from South Florida. Robert Garrett Jr., your response to, at times crazy, at times very tame game here in Fort Lauderdale this afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it was a battle of the defenses all game, and when it came down to it, Florida's defense was able to pull it out. Neither quarterback with a QBR of over 50. Kentez Johnson, 29.4. Ron Cochran, 43.5. So, I mean, these defenses were just under the skin of the quarterbacks all game.
And because I feel the need to mention it one more time, I'll read out the names of everybody who had at least 1 interception today. For Houston, Jacob Clear, Everett Garrison, Brady Clark with 2, and Terry Woodson with 1. For Florida, Roland Parrott with 1, Ryan Davidson with 1, Evan Carroll with Andrew Francis with 2, and Ryan Tobin with 1. That is the 11 interceptions today, and that is the story of the game. So the Storm pull out the 27-21 win. They get their first win on the board. They play in the next 2 weeks Lone Star and Fort Worth. They're at Lone Star and then home against Fort Worth. They get all 3 Texas teams in a row. And with the way Lone Star has been playing, and Fort Worth to an extent, they may be favorites in those 3 games. Or those 2 games, rather.
Yeah, Florida's got a tough road ahead of them, but they have the ability to pull it out if they're playing to the level that they did today.
And for Houston, it's back to the drawing board, but it's still been a good start for the Hyenas after a kind of a down season last season, as they're 2-2 in their first 4. And
but the things
made
we've
the comeback today.
Yeah, the things we've seen from this Houston team so far this season, there's a lot of positive. Even in this game, Warren Murray, 23 attempts for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a high note for him, even on a loss.
We got to talk about the missed opportunities, though, as specifically Alonzo Hamilton for the Houston Hyenas missed several interceptions. Top performers for Florida, J.W. Doyle had 2 touchdowns on the ground, his first 2 of the season. The player of the game is J.W. Doyle with those 64 yards and 2 touchdowns on 25 carries.
Yeah, those 2 touchdowns, the big difference maker for the Storm. Doyle not getting a whole lot done on the ground, but playing a great game overall.
That'll do it for us. Don't forget, coming up in 1 hour from now at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're live on Twitch and YouTube at Simulationfl. That's Tulsa hosting St. Louis and Lone Star hosting Fort Worth. But for Robert Guerra Jr., Tim Hackett, Albert Begin, Cameron Irvine, and everybody involved with this production of Simulation Football League action today, we say so long and see you next time from South Florida.